Hello, I'm here today with Les Mitchell. I'm Steve Allen, Dharma Way Dojo and Self-Defense Solutions. Les is a private student of mine, been coming nearly 3 years, doing a great job. And he has a question today because he's been learning a form, learning the forms of Old Mother Eight Palm in Baguazhang and other things as well. And so today Les has a particular question, so I'll hand him the microphone. He'll ask that question, and you'll get to see some of the ways that we teach Bagua. A lot of people teach Bagua as just the form, and it becomes very difficult to apply it in self-defense. All right? So you have to understand there are certain basic things that you have to do in Baguazhang or 8 trigram palm that make it a workable art, not just workable for self-defense, but also workable for rehabilitating the back and the hips. It's very good for that. So Les, just here's the mic. Just ask me any question that you like.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So as you know, we're working on Form 3.
Yeah.
And I was wanting to know what form what shape does the form take to be able to transition from move to move throughout that part of the form.
Okay. So what I think Les is asking me, correct me if I'm wrong, is he's asking me like, how do you know when to take the shape? When do you change? Like you'll have a movement. So what makes you change in Bagua? Now in most martial arts, you're just volitionally changing. In other words, you've just made up your mind to do it and you just move. You know, so if you decide to punch with right hand, then you punch with the left hand. But that's not really advanced martial arts, okay? Because that causes you in an actual altercation to not balance forces. So you can only do a martial art in 3 dimensions. It's got to be in depth, width, or vertical height. That's because those are the dimensions that we're in. There is a 4th dimension, but that's subjective. So if you balance those 3 dimensions, your opponent will think you're controlling time space, but that's because of what he's not aware of at the moment, from his perspective. So that's pretty deep, and we won't get into that. But how do you actually take shape? Well, you allow forces to give you shape. You start to become the inverse of the force that you're interacting with. So as a first movement for all self-defense, I tell my students all the time, don't try to just do a block. If somebody's throwing a blow, don't try to do a block or don't try to do a movement. Simply go out there and meet that movement with your hands, both 2 hands, and then turn parallel to that force. So if force is coming at you like this, you want to turn parallel to this force. Well, in Bagua, if you'll imagine yourself inside of a tube, okay, so a tube just like this, and you imagine yourself inside that tube, your body has to take this curvature. Bagua is all about circles, centrifugal and centripetal circles. So if you're taking shape, you have to allow the tube, your force against the tube, to give you shape. That starts to help the mind and body to understand that when I touch a force that's coming at me, I don't want to oppose it in the same plane that I'm interacting with it in. I want to actually turn in such a way that I can get parallel to it. So for instance, if this way, like if you throw a blow right here, now you see I'm trying to block. Well, if you're faster than me or more powerful than me and start earlier than me, which normally happens, then I can't possibly go out here or go out here and get here before you touch me. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So I need to be on a straight line too. So I need to be touching you. Now, but I don't need to be perpendicular. I might have said parallel before. I meant to say perpendicular. So what it is I don't want to be here. See, I'm still perpendicular when he throws that blow. What I want to be able to do is to turn actually parallel. Do this one so they can see in the camera better. So see, now I'm turning this. You see I've got 2 hands. I'm feeling this. I'm shifting my weight in such a way that I'm in the middle and I'm on the other side. I want to keep the ground path. I want to keep a root, or song as the Chinese call it, all the time. So if you throw this blow, you see what I mean, but I don't want to bring the hands back over in this plane because now I leave space. Nature abhors a vacuum. Here, this is a vacuum, is the way you need to think of it. Because now my hand's over here, he can just throw that blow. All right? So that can happen very, very fast. All right? So he throws this blow, I want to split it. That still leaves me parallel, but I split the arms. In Chinese, that's called liao. So he comes this way and I just split it, see? So he don't get a chance to do that. But what if he throws this blow and then he throws that blow? Then I just want to get parallel to that too. Now I have the next joint. So because if I come here and I throw it this way, my hand's still here. If I catch my hand here, what's closer to him, my hand or my elbow? My elbow. So let's say he throws this blow, he throws this blow, and boom. Now, you don't stop here. What if he tries to hit me under here? I can turn parallel to it, you see. So you got to get a good turn. You can't just be partially doing this, just barely turning. You got to be turning, but then this hand could come, see. So he begins to throw this blow, he throws this blow, you see, and I start to do it, whoop, I'm this way, boom. Now, what this amounted to, because of the way this runs, pretend like we're in a tube here, and he's throwing this blow through the tube from one side of the tube to the other side of the tube like this. So the other side of the tube's here, this side of the tube's here, and his arm's coming diagonal through the tube. Well, I want to use the back side of the tube. I want my body to conform to the back side of the tube. That does a lot of things that you have to do in Chinese martial arts. One is to hollow the chest. You see what I mean? And to keep your tailbone and the crown of your head in line. So if this comes around, I'm this way, you see what I mean? Now I've used that tube. If he throws it this way, I can actually come up here and use the tube again. See, so now my body's coming around this way. I'm on this side of the tube. I'm coming this way. If I need to change, watch both my hands. I'm going to plaster this hand up against the tube. It'll come around even, see? See, now I'm on this side of the tube. See, I'm always moving over that tube. The form he's talking about is the third form in the old mother 8-palm form that I was taught by my teacher. And how you do it is you start walking the circle. So circle walking is very fundamental to this. So as I walk the circle, you see I'm on this, I've got a tube here, I'm on this side of the tube. This shoulder's this side of the tube, and it's causing me to come around this way in a circular manner. See, I know a lot of people just stick their arms out, but that's not correct. You need to come around. See, so I'm touching this tube and I'm coming around like this. And when I get to the point where I want to change, I'm going to do a movement in this particular manifestation of the art. There are many lineages of Bagua, by the way. This is under the, if anybody wants to know and is familiar, this is the Qing style, probably one of the most popular styles. But it's a way offshoot. I've never seen this style done anywhere else. It was taught to me by my teacher, who said it was taught to him by his teacher, who actually performed it in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. Of course, Bagua is not an Olympic sport, but you know they have a lot of demos, and the Chinese team went from the martial arts university in, I believe, Nanjing, and did this demonstration. So it's more of a family type of style of Bagua. It's very good. And you come up on the circle, the tube like this, you see. Look at my hand here. It's doing this. It's not just doing, you know, right angle movements. So I'm this way, and now I'm going to press out. You know, this is called press out. You can do it as low as you want or high as you want. This is more like a qigong here to get it from your song, so that creates an energy in Bagua or Chinese martial arts called an. That energy is to push down and up at the same time, like you're getting out of a chair. So if I do it like this, then we're going to turn. This is form 3, so it's an inside out type move. We're going to turn this way, touch the tube, and this hand, bottom hand touches the tube. We come over like this. We hit it here. We don't drop. We just hit it here, and then it comes around this way. This hand comes around to that. You know, it looks simple, but it's quite complex, it'll tell you. So we're this way. See? And I'm coming all the way over now. I'm this way. See? And I'm coming back over here. Now, what do we do in this particular form? I'll do it this way so you can see. So what's making me change? What's making me change? I may have one arbitrary movement, which is put my hands out. But what's making me now do this instead of something else? Well, my intention to follow the curve of this side of the tube. So the other side's here. So if I turn this way and touch the tube this way, both shoulders, both hips have to turn. I'm turning this way, and now this is hitting the tube and coming down. At the same time, this is coming into the tube like this, and I'm this way. Right? Now, in this particular form, we come this way. I hit the tube here, and I take my dantian and roll it like this. The arms have to keep that particular metamorphosis into the tube. It has to be shaped by the tube. So whatever I do in my dantian is a microcosm of what I'm doing to the macrocosm of the outer part of the body, the arms and legs. So what you're doing in here gets reflected in your arms and legs. If you're not doing Chinese martial arts like that, guess what? You're not doing Chinese martial arts. You're doing an external martial art, and you're even doing that poorly. So if I come over like this and I touch here, then this has to roll. As this rolls, look, it rolls the shoulder. See, it rolls the shoulder like this. Now I can have the intent to take a shape by bringing it. So when I bring this side over, this has to come out. When I do that, you'll see I pick this up and come this way. Now look, you see me like this? See? So you really have to create a root here, but you see how the body does this? So let's look at how we complete that movement. I'm here, I'm here. See? Now look what happens here. I'm this way, now I'm what? This way. See, now in this form you come right back over like this. And now you do it from the other way. This way, this way. Now see how I hit here, it takes, look at this hand here, it does this. See, this hand comes over. Now I'll come back this way, do that same movement again, and so I'll do it for you here. I'm this way, I roll this way, drop this over. As I drop this over, I can run into it like that with a double palm strike. So what's made me change? Running into the tube and taking a shape from having to curve to the tube's curvature. Then the only thing I can do is what the joints are designed to do to start with. The hips and shoulders are socket joints, so they're designed to rotate like this. The elbows and the knees are hinge joints. They have some rotation, but primarily hinging like this. The only reason it moves like this or this is because this moves. If this stopped moving, if this was a hinge and this was a hinge, you wouldn't be able to do that. Then the wrist itself is both a hinge and a ball and socket, but it doesn't have as much movement as it doesn't hinge as much as the elbow, and it doesn't rotate as much as the shoulder. Same way with the hips, knees, and feet. Most people are doing Tai Chi and Bagua, and this is happening to their foot. They're taking their foot and it's doing this. So you say, okay, well, I want you to leave my foot still, but in reality, you can't be perfectly still. So what you have to do is if your foot's still, the weight of your body, the sung, the sinking, the constant sinking, is going inside your leg, down through your leg, below the ankle, immediately below the ankle, into the foot. Now, as you move, you'll feel that move all around the foot. So your knee can score over the foot, but no wider than the foot. So if you're, come here, Les, so put your hands out like this. So you see his hands here, and this is your foot. You will feel your, go this way, you'll feel your weight go around the foot like this. As you can bring it into a point, and then you can expand it circularly around the edges of the foot. But you don't pick up the foot. So if this is the bottom of the foot on either side, it don't do this and this. So I mean, it's just here, and you can feel the weight go in there. That's how you store gene in the legs, or raw power in the legs, according to Chinese martial arts theory. So gene is stored in the legs. Then what is that gene? What is that power? It's a raw power that can be given various shapes. So the fewer a thing is, it's called yin. The more it is, it's called yang. So yang is from here below. Yin's from here below. Yang's from here up. So I can take this raw weight of my body and give it shape through the joints and out to your opponent. So you become a conduit of that movement. So now you must be a conduit of shape. And by a conduit of shape, I mean, if I touch any area of him, say he throws this blow, you see that curve? And you see my body changed, it rolled. I didn't stay perpendicular to this move. I'm always taking space away from the opponent. So when you're practicing, that can help you in self-defense, because you could say this is a punch. You see what I mean? You could say a punch is coming right here. So what a lot of people do is they'll start taking a shape too early. Well, if I do that, it's going to be really bad. If he throws that blow right here, see, I'm trying to take a shape more than I'm trying to interact with this force. So you don't have to start taking a shape early. Most people start doing their application way too early. And it often fails. Look, I'm a former policeman, corrections officer. I've been in a lot of confrontations, literally for my life. And the point there is, I've seen a lot of people with black belts just get devastated by some criminal who just keeps punching them. He doesn't have a plan. He just keeps punching them. He keeps trying to stop that punch with these blocks. And if his space and time is off, in other words, if he's trying to traverse more space than your opponent is, then you're going to be slower. That just makes sense, you know what I mean? People don't want to admit it because they say, oh, they're in love with their art. But they're not in love with the vehicle that is their art. That's what they ought to be. Because you have to learn something from that. So I don't start doing Bagua immediately. I'm no form. The goal is to get to no form. So if he throws that blow, I just want to turn parallel to it. I want to touch it and turn parallel to it. Now the onus is on him not to lose his balance, not to make a mistake. Because if you plan on hitting something and you think it's going to be solid, then all of a sudden that thing disappears. If you don't have a lot of swing in your body, if you don't have a lot of control and awareness of your body, you're just going to topple over. Let's demonstrate that. Demonstrate that for me. You see what I mean? You can just, hey? I didn't have to grab him right here and start pulling him. When I grabbed him right here, it was what? Look at my hand right here. See my fingers here? These fingers? He keeps going this way and just add a little. As the Tai Chi classics say, 4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds. Well, if both things are even, if 500 pounds are here and 500 pounds is here, if I just add a little bit of more weight here, it'll move the whole thing, won't it? Well, that's what they mean by that. A lot of people don't know what this meant by that. So let's say I'm going like this and I'm into form 3. You're saying he throws this blow. Now I'm this way. Look. See, I came across this way. So watch. He throws that blow. Now I'm here. Now he throws this blow. Now look. See, I'm this way. Now push me and watch. It'll disappear. Why does it disappear? Because the hip comes around this way. And I'm turning parallel to this force. See what I mean? Do you feel how it disappears? So as you throw this blow, see, I'm this way. Now I can come right back up, see? So he throws this blow. There it is. So we didn't rehearse this. We really didn't. So that's how it works. Rarely are you going to be facing your opponent. You might just catch a blow out of the side of your face here. So he's throwing this blow. So if you think you got to get outside, I hear martial arts say all the time, just get outside the arms. But what if you can't? What if you're not set up for that? So let's say I'm standing here and he throws the blow around this way. Well, how am I going to say, wait a minute, I got to get outside of that? You really can't. So now, but he is making a tube, isn't he? He's following that tube. So I'll make a smaller circle inside the same tube he's creating. So as he throws this blow, there we go. See, it went. I just stayed on the tube. I was on the tube this way, and I'm on the tube this way. Boom, boom. One of the best martial arts moves in the world. Back and forth. Hinge, drop, turn, boom. That's it. So if he throws this blow, says, if this gets blocked, what do I think like? I'm going to try to block it out like this? I'm going to try to move it? No. If he touches this, watch what I do with it. Just rotate it. Why did I rotate it? Put all the pressure you can put right here in my hand. Look, you see all that? So most people see, if he's stronger than me, which he is, believe me, he can just do what now? Boom. See, watch, I touch this, boom, he just pushes back. Boom, you see? But if he's applying pressure in one dimension, which is, this is the depth dimension, if I curve it to width, he can't hold it. I promise you, he'll be weak as a kitten on this side if he's strong as an ox on this side. So if he's strong as an ox here, he's weak as a kitten where? Here. Try it with your partner sometime. Have somebody just hold here. Have somebody do this. Watch. Just put your arm out. And you just oppose him. So he pushes really, really hard. You push really hard back, you see? So whoever's strongest is going to win. If I just take this wrist right here and flip it down and move my waist this way, he'll disappear. Watch. It's like snow gets on a limb and just falls off. But you have to build up the conditioned response in your nervous system to feel that. And one way to do that is to not take shape volitionally. Okay, that means you decide when to take shape. No. I'll let the opponent decide when to take shape. So the opponent dictates my movement. Now he has to defeat himself. It's very hard to defeat the mirror image of yourself. You see what I mean? If I'm doing something, I can be late or early or mess up the timing. But if I time myself with his movements, I can't mess up. It's impossible. You see what I mean? So that's really an elevated view of the martial arts. I don't care what style you do. You can call it blue chung fung tung wangi or whatever. It don't matter. You can make up your own whatever. If it's not balanced in 3 dimensions, it's not balanced, man. You can have any style of car you want. You know, but without 4 wheels and a motor and some gas and a drive shaft, you're going to be kind of, you know, sucking behind, you know what. It's not just going to run. And nobody wants to boil the martial arts down into its lowest common denominator. Everybody's stuck on a form. They're in love with a particular look of a martial art more than its practical application. I never was that way. I was always the other way around. All forms should lead to the same place, formlessness. Okay, because that's the only way you can be assured. Because if you're following, I've seen people just follow the movements of a whole kata or something trying to apply it, but it don't work like that. Because in the real world, there are no rules. Even in UFC, there's rules, believe me. Okay, there are no rules in the real world. They can kick you, gouge your eyes out, bite you, pull your hair, rip your ears off, kick you between the legs, break fingers, hit you in the back of the head, you know, break your neck, pull out a knife and stab you, or call 6 friends to beat the crap out of you. All them things are legal. Okay? If you want a real reality fight, you cut off all the lights, put a small woman in a ring and put 4 guys in there with her and put some furniture in there with her. That's reality. Okay, sorry, but that is reality. Because nobody announces they're going to show up and whoop you, you know, I mean, they don't do that. People are cowards. They don't do that. You know, there might be a few of us honorable people do that, but then we don't want to have a fight with a knucklehead anyway. So your goal is not to fight 10 rounds and become, you know, victorious and everybody buy tickets. I'm not getting paid. You know, if you're an officer or something, you got a job to do, you want to put this guy down quick as you can. I don't care what PC crap there is, you can get killed messing around with some criminal fool. So if he throws this blow, see, I want to be see, I feel this, so so how do I do that? When he comes here and he touches this, you see, when he touches that, watch that body. You see, as he pushes this way, watch. You see, I just turn inside it this way. See? And see, now, this curvature doesn't make me start and stop. Stopping is the biggest sin you can make in a form or kata, anything. And you see it all the time, especially in harder styles like karate and various styles, Southern Chinese styles. You'll see stop, 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 stop. That's okay for the beginning to teach a student who has no coordination or no awareness of their body, and we can build that general frame. Okay, that's like being in General Motors and you're starting to put the car together. That's fine. But when you take it out and drive it, it's not one wheel, the next wheel, the next wheel, the next wheel. You know, everything's got to be turning together, and there can be no stopping. So there's only one way not to stop. That is, don't oppose. You know, now, some of you are going to have to really think about this. Because if this blow comes around here, you see what I mean? You see I'm turning? See, I've touched the tube and I'm coming around the tube this way. I always teach 3 lines, which are this line, and then the center line. But that's just to reference him. You see, so now I'm parallel to this movement. If I get caught with my hands here, I don't want to, if he's throwing a blow, I don't want to be trying to do this because we might arrive at the same time. If you see a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff like that, you'll see that happen where people arrive at the same time. Okay, which both of them get knocked out then. You know, stupid, but, you know, super ignorant. So if you throw this, you see what I mean? And he starts to throw that blow, see, I can come around this way. You know, I could do it this way. He throws this blow, he touches this elbow, right? So watch my body here. So put pressure on that elbow. See, one of the basic things you can do is, I don't care what style of martial arts you do, go in and figure out whatever you're doing in your particular style of martial art. It doesn't matter. I'm not putting down any of them. I'm just putting down your actual relationship to your martial art. Martial art's fine. It's a vehicle. You just can't drive it. So what happens is, what I want you to do is be able to follow these three things. So at the basis of any martial art that you do, and the reason I teach Bagua a lot is because it's just more conducive to that. Its forms are more, or Taolu are more conducive to this particular mindset. But what you need to do is say, can I step, rotate, and replace? So what does that mean? If you want to figure out if you're correct, if he throws a blow, I'm stepping and rotating. What I haven't done yet is replace. By that I mean replace hand with hand, you see? So I could be here, you see, and that way. Or I can call replacement this. I'm replacing where my hands were here with the elbow. Because both hands are occupied, I go up to the next joint. Even from there, see, now I can go to the shoulder if I need to. Okay? But you notice that I stepped, rotated, replaced the hand. Hand, 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 rotate, rotate, and step. And step doesn't have to be an actual forward step. It can be as small a step forward as that. It can be a step over. It can be a step this way. Or it can be a step behind. It can be a step any way you want to make it. The simplest step is not a step at all, but I still call it a step because it's a weight shift that changes me in depth. So if it changes me, if it changes my dantian from this point to this point or this point to that point, it's still a step. The knees need to act like springs. So you don't bend your knee volitionally. You let the weight, the sinking of your dantian, bend the knee. Now in Bagua, you can even have a straight knee and the body's weight goes through it. So you learn to pull that weight, that heaviness, gravity through every joint. You let that gravity and your rotation bend and straighten the joints or rotate the joints or whatever their design is without stopping. So they kind of overlap. Tai Chi's a wave. You see what I mean? It manifests as a wave, but on the inside it's a spiral. Much like the ocean before it hits the beach. The ocean is a spiral until it hits the beach, then it becomes a what? A wave. Okay? So that's how you have to see it. But in Bagua, it don't work like that. In Bagua, it becomes a whole series of infinitely connecting circles that can be centripetal and centrifugal. So you think I'm using a circle, but I'm really not. I'm using the intersection of two circles. So where we're standing here, for instance, come over this way a minute. We're standing here, pretend that there's a circle this way and there's a circle this way, and I'm standing at the intersection of those circles. All right? So if he throws this blow right here, I could step walking off this way going into that circle. I'm vulnerable this way, so now I could actually take and produce another circle right behind him so that he throws that blow, I've step rotated and replaced the hands, you see? Okay. So if he throws this blow, I'm walking the circle this way. If this hand comes up to hit him and he stops it, then there's 1-3. There's the answer to your question. Does that make sense? I didn't say it was easy to do, but that is it. Because notice how successful I am here. I'm not doing something arbitrary early. I'm taking shape due to his force. Okay, most people leave gaps that are a mile wide, but you don't see the gap, so you start head hunting. That's what most people do. I'm going to hit them in the head. But generally, I'd rather hit you in the body. The times I've really been in fights for my life, you know, I had a partner that was attacked with an axe one day, so I had to defend him. I stopped him by breaking his ribs. If you throw this blow around this way, I'd rather hit you here. A rib broken will take a lot of steam out of you. Your skull is designed to protect your brain. So a lot of these criminals are really hard-headed. You know, I stopped hitting people in the head too much a long time ago due to damage of my knuckles. You know, so now I hit you in a very vulnerable spot. So when I started understanding martial arts, I always did soft to hard and hard to soft. So if I hit you in the head, it'll be with a palm. If I hit you in in the body, it's usually with the knuckle or the hand. So Bagua is not just the palm, although they call it 8 trigram palm. It has fist movements in it too, but really many striking surfaces on the hand. When I studied short rear karate for brown belt, you had to know the 15 striking surfaces of the hand. So if I'm coming this way, you see, I could bring this up. See, that's a replacement. You see, so if you're starting to get hit, you know, I'm always stealing the initiative. You don't want to be standing here in defense all the time. And don't stand here in box. And people say, well, what if they do that? Well, you need to act in time. Most people don't act in time. I train my students to act immediately. Don't try to figure out what your opponent's doing. Just see where he's vulnerable immediately. Okay? So the moment he puts his hands up, then you can just put him down. He's got to resist. But notice how I stepped. Notice how a lot of people will be here and they'll do this. Well, that's not advantageous. But if I step, now when he brings the hands back up, if I rotate and replace, he's in trouble. So now start to bring your hands back up. See? Hey, I'm coming in all the time. You know, if you fight a tiger, he won't stand out there and box with you. If you throw a punch at him, he'll eat that arm up and then eat you. And you have to think that way. You have to think in that. Dragon always has a choice, but the tiger is very vicious. So when you're getting hit like this, or he puts these arms, you know, like they hit you, you know, there's an easy thing. You hit the back of the hand. See, if you create pain in a person, they tend to stop. But I have fought people that are, you know, on drugs and stuff, and it was amazing. They didn't stop. You could hit them like really hard. I've hit them with a slap jab, hit them with nightsticks, and it's like, look at you, you know. So, but any person, if he's throwing a blow here, you see, I want to get turned around on it, see. So here's the movement, see. The first movement of your circle walk is dragon stretches its claws. So if he throws this blow, then see, I'm here, now dragon stretches its claws. I didn't dragon stretches its claws immediately, did I? You say, I didn't do that immediately. Why? Because I didn't know which direction to do it in. How do I know which direction to do it in? Because I can feel what he's doing. And that gives me the direction. So if I'm opposing him here and he's pushing at me right here, then I can circle this around. If he stops it there, so I can come around this way. If he stops it there, I can come around this way. And that relentless pressure of walking, of stepping while you're doing that, really eats up space between you and him. And if he doesn't then comply to what you're doing, he's going to be at a disadvantage. If you're standing there when a truck's coming, you're going to get run over. But I'm also not going to try to run over his force, because he probably didn't attack me because he thought I was stronger and better at martial arts than him. Most of the people don't do that. They think you're weaker. So most of the time you'll be smaller, you'll weigh less, and women will get attacked by men who are bigger and stronger. And men will get attacked by other men who are usually bigger and stronger, or more numerous. Okay? If a killer kindergarten class comes out of you, comes after you, probably have to, you know what I mean, work with some other martial arts teacher. I don't teach against that. But you know, that would freak me out really bad too. But you can see the point I'm making. So it's important to understand the basics of martial arts, what you're trying to accomplish, understand it in the realm of physics, not just in, oh, I'm doing this style and this style is better than that style and that style is better than that style. That's just absolutely stupid. Let me tell you what is actually stupid in the martial arts. Practitioners who don't understand that a style is a vehicle to help you understand balance movement in 3D and balance movement on the ground, because in reality you're balancing two forces so that you can stay fluid. The goal is to stay fluid, never start and stop. So if your martial arts starting and stopping, you've got a problem. Okay, that's my opinion. If you don't believe it, that's fine. I don't care if we believe it or not. It's not my head they're going to knock off. If you don't believe it, you can come over here and try it out. I don't mind. You know, it's not anything antagonistic or animistic or with animus or anything. It's just a physics fact. If you jump off the roof on your head, it'll probably hurt you. You know, just because you call it the jump off the roof style of martial arts don't mean it has any validity. Okay, so it has to match up with reality, and most people don't do that. You're sparring in the dojo. I never have my students spar. I attack my students when they're not looking. That's mean, isn't it? Because you're not going to get in a ring and start fighting with a referee. When has that ever happened? It's never happened to me. I wore a badge for a long time, and nobody went, Steve, I'm fixing to kill you. Let me get the referee. Yeah, that's stupid. You're just doing a sport martial art. Well, I don't teach that. If you don't sport martial art, go somewhere else. Throw the blow, see, I can hit it, see. I've created pain there. But see, I'm this way. But you see, I was parallel to this movement. If he then pushes this or tries to do something, see, I can't oppose it. So what's this elbow doing? It's straight, right? What if I turn my dantian and bend the elbow and replace it with this hand? That didn't cost me any strength. I didn't need strength at all. All I needed was the ability to feel his force. Let's do it again. See, boom, boom, see? Immediately when I feel that, look, this is like a step. If I shift my weight, that's the same as a step. I don't have to take a step. I just shift the weight. I can shift the weight more or change the weight shift. If I step here, I could just step a little behind me right here with this back foot. So if he comes this way like this, you see me, and he puts pressure here, I can just step back here. I don't like to step back because it makes more space. I like to be really close. That way he can't see what I'm doing, but I can feel everything he's doing. I don't try to see what he's doing, I try to feel what he's doing. So if he throws this blow around here, boom, and it stops like this. So I'll just shift my weight into him, see? Maybe take this foot right here and bring it up like with just a little inverted kick into the shin. That really hurts. So you're throwing it this way, boom, see? Boom, 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 see? Fight over. So if you really want self-defense in a realistic way, give us a call. You know, even Les recommends us. And so yeah, we have a lot of fun too. We joke around a lot. We have a lot of fun. We got a beautiful setting here. We got a dojo inside the house. And you can learn this for health and self-defense. I don't think Les will mind me saying, you know, we've rehabilitated injuries, gotten a lot better, back a lot better. I teach a lot of people with back pain. The movements of Bagua really helps them. But but the part of the program, you have to learn self-defense with it or it becomes not functional. So when you're out doing something, your forms, for instance, your taolu, your 8 basic mother palms as they call it, then you can actually understand that dissipation of force principle. Okay, so your goal is to ride his force back to him. In order to do that, you can't be impacted by that force, but you can control the movement of that force. Okay, it really works. And I thank you for your time. I thank you for watching, and we'll see you inside the dojo. Thanks, Les.